What's the most embarrassing / cringy thing you've accidentally shown someone, or something they accidentally saw while using your phone or computer? Father-in-law was looking at photos on my phone with me. I got a text from my wife that said, "I've been a naughty bitch, you need to come home and slap my ass." I turned to him and said, "What kind of daughter did you raise?" I learned that day. A. Turn off preview. 3. Do not joke about a man's daughter. Way back when, I was playing a bunch of World of Warcraft. This was back when people were making funny machinima YouTube videos constantly, and I had them downloaded to my computer so I could show my friends. Then one day, I set up a very early version of Plex, video streaming software, on my computer, and I hook up my TV for a small party. Little did I know, Plex scans your media library and then runs out to the internet to find a cover image that Plex thinks matches your movies, so that you have a thumbnail to click when you want to watch that video. For some of my WoW YouTube videos, it found pictures of orcs and elves fucking, and threw that up on the screen. The girl I liked at the party, what the fuck is that? Me, borderline speechless, I have no fucking idea. Had the minister of my church at my house. He wanted to upload music from his laptop onto my Zune, tells you when this was. He turns it on and the Zune immediately displays a topless picture of my fiancée, a girl he's known since birth, having been best friends with her parents. He just clears his throat and says, "I didn't see that." The rest of my time with him that day was incredibly awkward, but he never brought it back up again. Edit, to clear up any confusion, the picture was on my Zune that I had taken. The pastor knew nothing about it prior to seeing it. Not exactly accidental, but when I was 15 my mom was snooping through my phone and found a text that said, "I wish I could have a girl with boobs so big I could suffocate in them." That was a cool fun time for me. Handed my mom my phone to show her a picture of something or other. Didn't think. Next thing I know, she starts swiping. "Mom, you need to stop. Right now." "Swipe why? I never get to see your pictures." "Swipe swipe stop." Attempt to grab phone, look of horror on mom's face because I have pictures of my dick on there. I went skydiving with a group of buddies. The first guy out of the aircraft got a badass slow-mo video of us all coming out of the plane after him on his GoPro. Naturally we all wanted a copy of the video. He left us his GoPro to plug into our laptops as he went to grab his stuff out of his car. If you've never used a GoPro before, you know when you plug it into your computer every file pops up with little thumbnails. The first guy to copy the video can't help but notice what looks like a naked girl in one of the videos. He stupidly clicks on it. It turned out to be our buddy with his current GF, and he was giving her the most violent porn-worthy throat fucking you ever saw, and to top it off, after about 5 seconds he stops, yanks her head back and hawks up a big loogie and spits it in her mouth. We all fucking lost it. We couldn't stop laughing, and he turned it off just in time before he came back inside. He ended up marrying her, and we could never look at either of them the same ever again, lol. In my younger years working in desktop support, we had a guy complaining that his computer was running slow. It was literally full of horse porn. This was back in the 90 MHz Pentium days and long before people had anything better than a 57.7, correction 56K, baud modem in their house. I had to show my boss and point out that obviously, this guy was using company bandwidth. We had a fractured T1 at the time that we paid out the nose for, to download non-work related material onto his company laptop. Clearly in the office. This was also the same dude who got caught putting breast milk in his coffee. So there may have been a few issues there. Me and my friends played this game in high school where we'd send each other the most vile, disgusting images we could find. We would all be playing Xbox, get bored, and someone would send some nasty shit to indicate the game has begun. We'd stop once everyone agreed that the last thing sent couldn't be topped. It almost always devolved into porn of various pop culture icons, usually in video games or cartoons. One time, my uncle called me in the middle of this game. We chat, and he asks to speak to my mom. I give my mom the phone, completely forgetting about what's happening. I go back to my Xbox, hear my troglodyte friends giggling about what they're sending, and start looking for my phone. Oh. Fuck. I run downstairs after I remember that Pandora's box of animated atrocities is opening up in my mother's ear right now. As I turn the corner, we lock eyes. Shock and disgust. She turns the phone to me, and on the screen, clear as day, is an image of Wario in a BDSM leather suit farting on a nude Princess Peach. I took the phone and never said a word. Never heard a word about it either. I went back upstairs, and kept playing the game. That would be when my sister saw my vlog. We recently reconnected. We had been estranged because of my absolutely insane mother. We were laughing, talking, just generally catching up on 20 years of life, and of course we were showing one another pictures of our families/houses/friends. I thought, oh, I'll pull up Google Photos because then she can just open albums and see each person or whatever all at a time, and I forgot that one of the albums is called Naughty and Google Photos chose a very naughty pic for the album cover despite my begging it to choose another. I had the app open to an album of kid pics when I handed it over. She closed the album, swiped to see what other albums she wanted to look at, and I heard, oh. She told her fiancé we got to know one another really well in that first meeting. During college my girlfriend worked night shifts, so I would sometimes crash at her place, that way I'd be there when she got off in the mornings. One night her roommates had a few people over to drink and I, being alone, decided to crank one out. Spent about 3 to 5 minutes watching some material, wondering why the audio wouldn't work on my phone. Then I hear an eruption of laughter from the kitchen. It was a small apartment. Turns out I was the last one that connected to the Bluetooth speaker they were using and was blasting my porn audio to an apartment full of people. I have never been so embarrassed in my life, and I laid there for what felt like an eternity afterwards listening to them all die laughing. I was at a pool party and someone asked if they could use my iPod for the music. I obliged. He found a playlist with some songs he liked and put it in. I didn't realize it when the music started, but about halfway through making that particular playlist I experienced some heartache, so suddenly the pool party heard Unbreak My Heart by Toni Braxton. I ran out of the pool and was like, oh, how'd that happen? Weird, and put in some metal. Smooth. If it happened today I'd just own it and laugh, but 17 to 18-year-old me was embarrassed. IT guy here. Way back in the day I was using Netscape, which had this feature of popping up the last site you were on. I believe this was default. Anyways, I had legitimately been doing some research on hacking since I was the administrator for a small web hosting company, so of course the sites I hit were chock full of pop-up ads with porn. So some Monday my boss and another woman, I think she was basically the EA, wanted to look at something on my computer, so I go, sure, NP. Fire up Netscape and bam, up pops like 8 chicks in a line all giving blowjobs. I was pissed. Luckily they believed my story, I think, but still, embarrassing. Other than that, nothing. I'm not stupid enough to use a work phone or computer to look it out. Also LPT, if you're attached to your work VPN, don't be browsing the naughty bits. My fiancé was sending me some sexy nudes on Snapchat one day. She had a bit too much to drink by this time. I got all of them, but so did one of her sisters, and a few she accidentally posted to her story. Luckily one of her female friends saw it and told her so she could delete them before anyone else saw them. Her sister snapped her back a thumbs up that said, "Didn't want to see that, but hey, nice vlog. Lol." She was incredibly embarrassed naturally, and it took a while before I got saucy pics again. I was on the receiving end of seeing something I shouldn't have. Early on when I was working at Geek Squad, a girl and her boyfriend came in with a MacBook saying she was having trouble emptying the recycle bin. I, forgetting that Macs don't have a right-click button on the trackpad, Clicked the right side of the trackpad thinking it would bring up the menu to empty the bin. You have to click with 2 fingers to get the right click options to show, just like a Windows computer. Except it didn't, and the trash bin opened. Inside there were dozens of pics of this girl's tits, spread eagle, asshole. Everything. I saw everything. The girl was on the other side of the computer and didn't see anything I was doing, but at this point I was freaking the fuck out, and of course the computer froze for what felt like 10 minutes, while the trash bin folder was still open, showing all her nudes. During this time, the girl's extremely muscular, juiced-out boyfriend walked up asking her how things were going. Once he asked, she started grabbing the computer to turn it towards her. Thankfully by the time she grabbed the laptop, I was able to close out and empty the trash bin. She asked how much it would be. I told her no charge and went on my way. I went into the back and my boss said I looked like I had just seen a ghost. I told him what happened and he was just laughing at me the rest of the day. Bet you learned how Macs work real quick, huh? Yep, I did. This one's a double whammy. Last year I was rear-ended very bad. I was in the process of moving, so I had lazily left some stuff in the trunk and back seat. In the back seat there was like trash bags of clothes, boxes of DVDs/games/PC hardware, etc. There was also the big paper Victoria's Secret bag that I kept all my sex toys in. Because the dude that hit me was doing nearly 80 and I was at a complete stop, everything that wasn't in a trash bag exploded and went everywhere. So when the police arrived to search my car, I guess to make sure I wasn't drinking since I'd been at a dead stop on the freeway, long story map, they were greeted with a vast array of random things, including my stash of sex devices. They had a good laugh and assured me it wasn't the weirdest thing they'd seen. Honestly, I needed the laugh too, but it was still hella embarrassing. Once that was over, my car was towed to a wrecker yard to be held until I collected my stuff from it. My mom insisted on helping me and I didn't want to hurt her feelings by saying no, so I let her come and quickly bagged all the sex stuff before she even got out of the car. Crisis averted. Although everyone at that wrecker yard 100% saw it. A couple weeks later, my mom was helping me unpack my stuff from the move and she grabbed her bag of stuff that had been in my car. I didn't think anything of it, I was busy. All of a sudden she says she found a dog collar and starts explaining that it must be one of her dogs because she's missing one, but stops her sentence short and I immediately knew what happened. I look over and she's holding the chain part of a ball gag with nipple clamps attached to it. Thank God she put the bag down and moved on. And that's the story of how 4 police officers, a bunch of salvage yard workers and my good Christian mother found out I am a sexual deviant. Editing because everyone is curious. I was rear-ended because it was very dark and as I was merging from another highway up a hill, I saw a person on the other side of the hill standing in the middle of my lane who turned out to be a homeless man who was very much on drugs. I stopped just in time to not hit him, but he wouldn't move from in front of my car, so I had to sit there until he did. By the time he shuffled away and I was ready to hit the gas again, I got hit. He walked a good distance away from the wreck he caused and proceeded to stare at the guardrail until the police arrived, then he hopped off the highway and disappeared. I've included a photo of the wreck with the man standing just above my passenger mirror under the street light staring at the guardrail for your enjoyment. In 2011 I accidentally shown my boss a photo of my boyfriend, now husband, and I doing something quite NSFW and adult in nature. It was on a flip phone and we were outside in the sun at an amusement park, work event. Originally I was showing him pictures of my safe for work art. I take pride in my sketches and people say I'm good. Anyway, the graphic photo was dimly lit and poor quality. I'm not 100% sure if he recognized what he saw, but I quickly snatched my phone and walked away clearly embarrassed. We didn't say much to each other after that. Lol. Bright side, my boss later hired my art skills and let me sit in the lobby. This was fast food, and aid groups of customers from schools by painting faces and make balloon animals. That was awesome. Oh man. A few years ago I used to work with an older very Christian lady. I am younger, gay, and decidedly not religious. Despite this we got along pretty well and sat next to each other. We usually just talked about neutral things like how she was remodeling her house or the weather. Anyway, one time I went on vacation and she wanted to see pictures, so I handed her my phone. Totally forgot I had some guy's nudes on there. Luckily they weren't mine, but she literally screamed, dropped my phone, and ran into the bathroom. It's a miracle she never said anything to HR. I was so worried I was going to get in trouble. So I took a rather artistic partially nude photo of my husband. I'm an engineer, so if something comes out artistic when I do it, there must have been some divine intervention. While it is partially nude, all the important parts are on full display. As I'm moderately proud of this photo, my husband, and it gives me a racy feel to see it often, I set it to my husband's caller ID photo on my cell. My phone is in a wallet type case, so the cover is usually closed so that I don't flash everyone when my husband calls. Until I was helping a friend whose cell had died and my husband started calling to figure out where I was. She just handed me my phone saying Zed is calling, and didn't bring it up. When she talked to him later, though, they are co-workers, she apparently razzed him a bit. I went to go visit my old boyfriend for about a week. During the trip we did a lot of things and I took a lot of photos. Stuff of art galleries, nature, us together, you know, regular trip stuff. My ex decided to get a bit NSFW and decided to partially record us doing the deed. I really wasn't paying attention while it was happening, and thought the recording was on his phone. Well, of course, when I get back my family wanted to know how the trip went and if I had any photos. I happily showed them. I'm already protective of my phone, so I was holding the phone and scrolling whilst they asked questions and dooed and dad. Then comes the video. It never played, but you know there's a thumbnail, and of course it's me in a not so SFW position with my boyfriend. I was shocked and luckily caught it straight away and scrolled past. The damage was already done though. Most of my family laughed and now it's an inside joke. Got out of it alive but still relevant. When I was 21 I had been texting my mom and my fiancé, BF at the same time. Accidentally sent my mom a nude. Rushed downstairs to find her phone plugged in, message unread. Opened the message and deleted it. Our conversation was over and it took me a few minutes to find the perfect shot for my BF, so I'm positive when we were done talking she got up and plugged it in. Her phone was next to the fridge, so I just opened the fridge door and low-key deleted it before she knew. Was also before she found out how to put a passcode on her phone, so, very close call. Had to tell my BF I was no longer in the mood after that one, lol. My GF and I had just gotten back from my sister's out-of-town wedding. Her super conservative mom asked to see some photos, so I opened one on my phone and handed it to her. What I had completely forgot was that my GF had dressed up as a sexy nurse that weekend. I had just gotten out at hospital for some health issues, and I had taken a bunch of photos of her in costume, straddling me. These pictures were right before the wedding pictures. I don't usually have scandalous things on my phone, so I completely forgot. Her mom didn't say anything and just handed me back my phone after a minute. She's super polite and I doubt she would ever say anything, but I'm pretty positive she saw. My poor GF was mortified. My new partner was going through old photos on my laptop to see all my friends that she hasn't met. It may have slipped my mind that I had multiple nude photos of all the girls I had slept with on there, not hidden in any way. So after about 120 photos every so often she would come across some chick's naked selfie that they had sent to me. We had only been dating for about 3 months at this stage. She took it well, laughed it off. We have been together for 4 years now and she has outright refused to send me nudes the whole time.